Okay.
How about now? Can you guys hear us? We've got so many different devices. Some of them are muted and some of us.
It's so weird. It says it's working in there. I'm just going to try this.
Yes, now they can hear
Okay.
us. Okay, we're just going to go with that.
Okay.
All right. So one more time, I have threaded a really nice neutral color that matches the buttermilk. Really, really nice. It's Floriani's PF 809. If anybody is looking through their stash and wondering, the threads that we're using, I just kind of bagged as I was doing them last night. So they're from my collection at home. It's small possibility they might be a retired color. You never know, because I've had some of these threads for a long time. But some of them I actually opened just to do this project. But they are both exquisite and Floriani. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So we are working in the 10.5 by 16 inch hoop. And Sarah has painstakingly rotated and spaced these out. So we have all 6 of the letters in one hoop. So we're going to give that a go. And, the only problem that I even possibly foresee is the edges of the fabrics overlapping from the overspray of fabric. So I think we should be fine. When I'm looking at the screen, it shouldn't make any difference. So we're going to, fingers crossed, that we're going to get all this to go. And we have our
color sorted.
Thank you.
Yes.
We have our designs color sorted, which means that the machine is going to do all of the steps for the applique, quote unquote, portions together instead of doing the C, then the whatever.
Then, so we don't have to skip through the design.
We won't have to skip through, at least not much, if any.
Sometimes it's a surprise how it color sorts, but we're going to give it a whirl.
So let's go ahead and attempt to swap cameras. And so let's see how this works. So again, this is a huge design.
I did double check to make sure that
we have nothing that we're going to,
except for us.
We're going to have to move around here to make sure that we're not in the field. So again, we're going to have all 6 in there. I can get to my water without my head being in there.
I know, right? Is that nice? I was thinking about you this morning.
I appreciate that.
Clearly, I wasn't thinking about power. But I was like, how can I do this? So, but I think that'll be okay. That was hysterical. I mean,
over 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
No response for 3 weeks.
Oh, goodness.
Explains a lot, doesn't it?
It does. It does.
I'm just like, wait, you're gonna get an entirely new box? Yep, it's already shipped. I got that too. Got that notice.
That makes me very close to the edge.
Yes, ma'am. So if you have not already, you are going to need to find that is just the needle bar hitting the edge of the hoop. There's nothing wrong there. We're just super close to the edge. Excuse me. You're going to need to find your felt. Your felt is located in 2 different spots in your Bella box. There is a loose roll that is rolled up just like it would be if you were to purchase it here at the store. That was kind of off to the side on the bottom, a little bit squished in my box, to make it fit. And then there was a piece that was folded up inside of the embellishment bag. So you're going to need both of those, and you're going to need to cut those in 5 by 6 inch rectangles. And you're going to need a total of 12 of those rectangles. And then according to your cut list, there is fabrics that they have chosen, of course, for you to make the letters out of. You can, of course, ignore them if you would like and choose your own colors. I think that's a nice spray of colors. But if you have changed other things throughout the other projects, you may not have something left over at this point. So you may have to sub something out if you used it for something else. But I think what they chose was a nice array. I think it looks really pretty. I even like the pink one.
That's pretty impressive.
Right?
Pretty impressive.
Yep. The other one I'm not sure I love is the yellow, just because it's really close. It doesn't pop quite so much. All right, so we now have 6 banner outlines, and we are just going to cover those up and try to balance that out. Do you want to play too?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Smush to the sides.
Smush over the edges. So, of course, in the instructions, I'm sure you guys know what they probably say. You could tape those down. Do you think we're going to do that?
Live dangerously.
We do live dangerously around here. So we've got all of those covered up, and all it's going to do now is tack that down. This is not actually seen on there later, so the important color isn't super important because you're actually not going to see this in the final stitch. But I tend to, I have to be color coordinated. I can't. I wouldn't want to like black or
That's what I was
something
gonna
here
say.
anyways.
I think if it was some sort of light color, it might be okay because
Right.
it's just covering it up with stitching later,
This
right?
is your cut line actually.
Okay.
So you're actually going to be cutting on this line. It's super easy to see it.
Mhm.
So if you end up with some thread left in there for whatever reason, it'll blend. But I pulled out all my threads. So, you know, I cut right on the line, and there was a few little jagged edges that were left in there. So for those of you, this is working better than I anticipated. I was concerned that the points would be more mushed together. It's not. It's working.
I
really
did,
well.
like I said, I did
You
push them
also
to
did
the,
this, so
and,
that
and
the
to
points are.
extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a little bit of finagling this morning when I was looking at them, trying to figure out what the best
How
way
is this
to-
going to work?
Yeah.
Right.
How can I smush the most amount of stuff in my hoop at the same time and still make this work?
So of course, depending upon your machine, you can multi-hoop as many as possible. So look and see what you have, whatever your largest hoop size is. And of course, that is going to help you get done fastest and save the most stabilizer. So you want to talk about stabilizer?
Yeah, so there isn't a ton of stitching involved in this whole process, but my trick is whenever I use a large hoop, I do want to make sure that I'm using a little bit extra stabilizer, especially when it's wash away, because the wash away stabilizers, they're themselves, they want to kind of pull in. So I actually made a sandwich here. So I have the standard wash away on the top and the bottom, and I have my favorite layer of Badge Master in the middle. It's just going to make sure that everything stays nice and stable. It also gives me enough that when I actually put the product in the hoop, there's something for the hoop to grab onto. If you have a single layer of wash away in your hoop and you are using a large hoop like this, I can almost guarantee that no matter how light your stitching is, it's going to pull in and shift, because there's just not enough of anything for the stabilizer to actually hold onto. You know, you can't tighten the hoop enough to make that actually
to get a really good grip.
To get a good grip on it. Yeah, and it's got a little bit of substance to it, but just not enough. So again, whenever you're using a bigger hoop, you do want to make sure that you're using at least double the stabilizer that you would normally do. Again, when I use my big large hoop like this, really no matter what I'm putting in, I usually use
overstabilize.
I do. I overstabilize for the larger hoops to accommodate for
any shifting
and for that large gap that we have going on. So
I would say of all of the machines, and we have certainly seen many different machines, and Tony always calls us into the back of, look at how this works.
Yes.
So you guys can see what the different machines, you know, the connection points and how they work. This machine is set up for success. The motors that are in there. So yes, it's a large hoop, but the motors that are in there are massive. And that's why we have that big box that's on the back now. And it's there to support that so that you don't get that shifting in the hoop, that it actually lines back up no matter where you're at.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that you shouldn't do everything that you can to help it. And that's what we're talking about here. So the Baby Lock and the Brother machines are, I think, ahead of the curve on the connecting from that because of how the hoop is in there.
Yeah.
And
It's a
because
large
of how
connection point.
because of how the hoop is connected to the arm and how the arm is moving on the machine, it's set up for success for you. But again, you always want to give that hoop as much help as you can.
Because, you know, when you think about it, there's like a little rubber grip pad in here, but this is a long,
It is very long.
It's long and straight. And so your hooping mechanism connection is down at the bottom.
Right.
So you're trying to pull everything down. And whenever, the reason we had that little bit of knocking is because
there's a little bit of give right in the center of the hoop.
Right.
And there's always going to be that little bit of give.
Yes.
Because there's no way for us to tighten that center of the hoop.
Exactly.
And it's a long vertical stretch.
Yes.
But that's what you were hearing, is because there's just a little bit of lift right there in the middle.
When you tighten your hoop down,
Yep.
it kind of happens.
It pushes it just a little bit.
Yes.
So that's what you were hearing.
Yep.
Okay. So at this point, it is going to do the placement line for our fabrics. So this is what we were talking about earlier today. They're different colors.
Okay.
So I'm going to just leave this.
You want to change something else?
I'm just wondering
if we're going to have enough
I can
for
see
later.
black.
Yeah.
So, let's change to something else. It'll all get covered up regardless.
You know what? We have one that's very similar.
Yeah, let's go with that one.
Okay.
We can switch back to this for later if you want, or whatever you want to do. But my spool's I can see the black through. So
we don't want to play
we don't want to play chicken with that.
Yeah.
All right.
That sounded like it right when I
cut it. Let's get the end out. Okay. So it's just going to do the letter outline so we know where to place the fabric to cover that up. So this is what I was.
Yeah, there's 4.
It's
instead of 5.
So I had to bounce around a little bit.
Okay.
Which that doesn't even make sense because those look all the same color. So why isn't there 5 instead of 4? I couldn't figure that one out either, but. So some of these are the same colors, and some of them are not. So if you are doing multiple hoopings like we are, you do need to pay a little bit of attention to where it's going. This obviously is not a problem, but when you actually have the colored threads in and it goes to do this jump, you'll need to stop it and change the color because the color sorting wants it to all be the same.
Right.
And you'll understand what I mean by that if you're confused at the moment when we get there.
I'm not, but I think I want
I didn't mean you.
I want all of my outlines to be black.
Oh, okay.
So in this instance,
that doesn't matter.
Fine.
Yep.
Yes. I just want them to be a little bit
more bold.
Yeah, like it's not a blanket stitch, but like I do with my blanket stitch sometimes. They'll be cute. Because you know I don't know how to follow directions.
I have a dark gray.
What's your dark gray look like? Okay, go fish. Oh, I like that. We'll do that.
Okay. But I believe what it's going to do is want us to finish those colors or those letters. So
is it worth skipping around, or should we just do that?
Either way, doesn't matter.
Oh, you're the one who's cutting over there.
This hoop actually moves in and out, so it doesn't matter to me in the slightest.
All right.
Do you want it to jump around and finish those?
Doesn't matter. We can jump around. So let's.
All right. So as we were saying, the color stops. These 4 placement lines were the same color. So since we color sorted, it did those 4 together. Sarah's going to jump forward and get those 2 placement lines for the R and the A.
I want to go fast, but it won't let
It
me.
won't let us. Yep. Maybe we should have just finished them.
Oh, I see. It totally just completely missed those.
Uh-huh.
Maybe we should. Should I just go back?
Maybe. Go back to 0 and jump forward. Put in the back.
Am I? Sorry. Thank you. It all looks the same.
Isn't this fun? It's just like watching the hoop move. It's like, I don't know what that's like. It's like watching the hoop move.
There we go.
And we're back. All right. Are we
changed our
changing any
mind.
colors?
No, we can do.
All right. So we are going to just go ahead and cover each of those up. Did you want to go ahead and change the threads to whatever color we're going to stitch?
Yeah.
All right. So we are going to do an E and another E and a T. So it doesn't say this anywhere in the instructions, but we have put a fusible backing on these just to give them a little more oomph. So they've just got a little more solid-esque to them.
Yeah. Hey, Tony. Can you let Hayden in, please?
All right, so now we're going to do the placement line. Oh, nope, the tack down line. We bounced around so many times, I don't know what we're doing. So Sarah has decided she would like to have a darker outline that's the same color on all of her letters. So we have a nice dark gray in, and being a tack down, it's going to go around twice. Morning.
It's really weird that it didn't do A because it totally looks like it's all the same colors, doesn't it?
Uh-huh. Now you understand
I
my
should have
back.
done it in software. I almost did that.
What should we do?
Not cut the bottom thread.
Something. I was like, wait a minute. Yep, it was the bottom thread. Weird.
Yeah. I wonder if we're getting close to the end.
Oh, we didn't look at that, did we?
No, because we didn't actually take the hoop out yet.
But it lined up, so it wasn't anything but that, so guess we're good. Do.
Yes. Yeah, this morning, you know, like when you try to rotate something and it's off to the side and then it doesn't, it flips it upside down for you. Like, that's not the button I pushed. That's not the button I pushed. I'm like, all right, have the copy. I'm on the corner.
Clear the brain, right?
Clear the brain, yes.
So I can tell you that it was a little weird getting into some of the like inside of the E's because the fabric likes to stick to the felt. So just be really careful when you're trimming and be gentle. Don't just jab it in there because you could end up making a lot of fuzz on your felt as well. So just be real gentle as you're trimming and you're getting into those corner pockets that you can't fully lift that fabric up. So
The purple scissors are right there if you're looking for them.
I'm just
Trying to make room.
yeah.
Okay. Okie dokie. So we are going to, I say we, Lisa is going to, she's got her little letters at the bottom there so that you can see what we're doing.
So there's the bookmarks and there's the banner letters. I'm going to get those out of the way. All right.
Here you go. And I'm going to change the bottom.
Not a lot of work for it.
Not on that big hoop, is it?
Well, I just legs of cameras are.
So if you didn't want to put the fusible woven on the back, and we used the Easy Tee on the back. Kimberbell does have one. I still prefer the Heat and Bond Easy Tee myself. I just think it fuses a little bit nicer. There's lots of Kimberbell stuff that I love.
Not scraps.
No. If you and Hayden want them for your other, please feel free. I have baskets of scraps at home. I'm okay sharing. Yeah, I use the Easy Tee on the back of that. Again, it's still my preferred one. It's pre-shrunk for you, so it never leaves any like residue, or it doesn't shrink and bubble, and it just has a nice even fuse to it.
It does, and it doesn't take forever to fuse. It fuses really fast.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna change the needle too because we used it on those cards and it's really sticky.
Sounds like a plan.
But so if I had taken these designs into the software and color sorted them, I could have gotten it all in one fell swoop.
Yep.
And so the machine did color, it did exactly what it was supposed to. The reason that it didn't work as specifically planned is simply because when the designs were created, they were not created using the same colors.
Yep.
So
they look the same, but they're not.
They look the same, but they are slightly different. So then it can't group that by color because it isn't the same color.
So this is where I was talking about. I'm just gently pushing my scissor in here and cutting, just so that I'm not pulling on that felt as well, because I don't want a big fuzz ball of felt in there.
Mm-hmm. And you don't want to pop all of your stuff out of your hoop either.
That doesn't work well either. True.
Because even if you have a fancy camera, you'll still say bad words. Which you don't want to do. Well, maybe you do. It's early. Maybe you want to get them all out of the way, right?
Right. Not like steps, though. We don't have a goal to reach on that. All right. So I like to do, I like to come in and then up so that I have room to work rather than trying to come.
Mm-hmm.
So notice I am not doing both sides. I'm not spinning the hoop around because that's not, it doesn't usually work as well. Not to mention that I don't have a lot of room to do that.
No, we do have the table packed full of goodies.
Oh, I got it. I need my openings on the right. you don't want me cutting left-handed. That does not work.
In fairness, I can't cut left-handed either. Even though I'm a lefty, I don't do very many things left-handed. I can rotary cut very well left-handed, but I cannot use a pair of scissors left-handed. I also can't brush my teeth left-handed. Isn't it weird?
Totally good to know. All right. Secrets about Sarah on Fridays.
Right?
Okay.
I bet you there's a lot of lefties out there that are like me. I think because everything else is, everybody shows you how to do things right-handed, so you copy them.
Right. Well, I am practicing rotary cutting with my left hand, and I'm getting better.
Yeah. It's not as hard as people think because it's straight.
I just have to remember which direction to push the blade. Yeah. Which
feels awkward.
It's awkward.
Yes, it does. But if it's little cuts,
that's where I'm starting.
Yeah, not so bad. It's definitely hard to do long cuts.
With the
when it feels awkward. Yeah.
Quote unquote.
Yes. But it really does save a lot of time if you
don't have
to flip and spin. Look at how cute.
Almost there.
Woohoo!
Little fuzz.
Thanks, Lisa.
Sweet.
There is a long.
That's why it pulled.
Yeah. So it doesn't get caught on something else.
Oh, I wonder if the.
Yeah.
Oh, I got it. If that's what it was. Hopefully.
There we go.
Look how easy that goes.
I know, right?
No fighting with that one.
All right.
Okay, so all we have now for this step is going to do a really cute motif stitch around there. You guys will be able to see this one because she chose a darker thread. Couldn't really see them on mine. They blend
in a little bit, yeah. Which is cute. Blending in is cute. It doesn't stick out as much as I thought it would.
I like the gray better than the black. I think that it's nice, just a little bit softer.
Yeah. Cute. I know, right? Sit back.
Job well done. Yeah. Let the machine do the work.
So did you do anything fun on your day off? You stitched?
I did stitch. I tried taking a nap outside. That never works. And it was hot. But my husband ended up taking the day off, so he was home, and we all went out to eat Mexican. Which last time I was at the Mexican restaurant, I had terrible service. I think I told you.
Yeah.
The whole churro thing, and yeah. So I didn't know. I really would have loved to order churros, but I'm like, nope. But so we had dinner, and I stitched after dinner, but not really did a whole lot. Slept in, which was nice. I needed some sleep.
We had Mexican yesterday too. It wasn't fancy Mexican. It was Taco Bell.
Oh.
But I did have tacos.
Caitlin got her hair done.
What color did she do?
Well, she showed the lady a picture of like auburn hair. But she had, last time she had gotten her hair done, it was like blonde over super dark. not black, but it was super dark brown.
Yeah.
And which is why I said I wasn't going to do it because there was no way a box was going to come out well
Right.
with all of those. And of course, it's grown out. So now she's got her hair color,
Yeah.
the blonde color, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to mess with that.
Yeah.
I said some professional can do that instead. And so when she had it bleached to get the blonde, it tingled and it hurt her head, and she didn't like that. No surprise.
Right.
And so she mentioned it to the hairdresser, and so the lady was afraid to leave anything on her hair for too long.
Right.
So I don't know that it ended up being exactly what Caitlin had asked for, but she likes it, which is all that really matters.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more purple than
yeah.
she had originally thought it was going to be, but she likes it.
That's good.
So that's all that really matters. But,
yeah. Purple turns red pretty quickly.
I'm wondering if
oh,
we'll
hopefully
see.
not.
I hope not too, but we'll see. She looks really cute. So she's got a purpley, pinkish, reddish. I don't even know how to describe that. Wasn't sure if that was loose or connected. Okay.
So yeah, that sounds like really fun though. I'm sure Caitlin enjoyed that. Well, aside from the tingly head.
She didn't have a tingly head, so she didn't leave anything on long enough to tingle.
That's cool.
But so she had that, and I read a book in the parking lot for like an hour, and then I was like, I gotta go do something. And so I went downtown Milan, and I went to a shop called Northern Chicks. It's just like home goods and miscellaneous things. And wandered around there and found these earrings. And I could have bought a lot of things in there, but it wasn't an inexpensive store. So I was like, I don't really need anything. But I didn't want to not buy anything either. So I found these earrings. I was like, I'll get these. And then I went down to the bakery and I bought some muffins. And Caitlin and I had lunch. And it was a relaxing day. Nothing crazy.
I didn't even get finished. I was attempting to work on the stabilizer in the Shopify system. So I got like one section done and then realized that there was a ton of stabilizers that I thought we were further along than we were. And a bunch of barcodes have changed. So like I would scan them and they wouldn't be in there. So then I would
look them up and
they're there. So that was fun yesterday. So that's what I was working on. So that's what I'll go back to.
Yeah, I think we've got some inventory that's not quite right either.
Yeah, and we're still having some trouble with the needles. I'm not really sure what's up with the SKUs and the barcodes on there. The joys of having this fun system. When it works, it's so great. It's so detailed and it looks really good. But we're working on it. It's a process.
Hopefully you guys all like it.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, there's some bumps in the road on the way to getting there.
Yeah.
But hopefully the final destination won't be too far away, and it'll be wonderful when we get there.
Yep. And our if anybody's waiting on Exquisite Thread, it's shipped already. So that should be coming. And then we ran out of some more things, so I ordered those yesterday.
More threads.
A couple more threads from Exquisite. I was hoping to sneak it into the other order, but it didn't work out that way. So, but I can't complain if they're going to ship it right away.
No.
So yeah. But yeah, everybody seems to be enjoying our thread season.
It's been a crazy week.
It has been.
Doubt.
And it's been so nice to see. I mean, we haven't seen some of these people, and we've seen
some
their orders come through, and we've shipped you stuff, but sometimes we haven't.
It's been nice to see all of some smiling faces we haven't seen in a while.
So it's definitely been nice for a change. We're not used to having so many people in the store at one time, so it's been fun. Everybody is so quiet today.
I know.
I hope we're still live. No.
And the package is already shipped. So I was like, well, I could reply back, you know. Got it, but it's already sent out. So I was like, oh, screw it.
Yeah. It's been a hassle.
They could pick up the phone and call anytime in the last 3 weeks.
Or, yeah.
Whatever. Got a follow-up that you received it.
I know.
I mean, I did write in that email that I was going to go to the post office.
You did. Growing pains, right? They're hard.
Yeah.
They're hard. They're definitely hard.
But this is super cute. I did, so there's eyelets here that in the corners and stuff that will stitch out as we go through. And I did cut the ribbon, which the ribbon is found in the little plastic box that's in the box of, there's a little box in the bell box.
Yeah, there's a little box
that has different color ribbons, and there is plenty for both the bookmarks and for the pieces that we do in here. It is very bent from being wrapped around the cardboard, so I just ran my iron over it to make them nice, and worked super. I mean, only needed it at a quick second, and it smoothed everything out and made them really nice. So not complicated by any stretch to make those look nice. So when we get there, we'll show you. We've got a punch here that we can use for that, and you tie these together basically with that ribbon, and then you can hang them however you would like. And I really like the framed look.
Yeah,
I thought that looked really sharp. I'm thinking about asking my husband to just put something together. He's got so much leftover stuff out there.
Yeah.
I think we might even still have some barn wood from my grandma's barn. That would be really sharp.
Yeah, that'd be really cute.
But
And you got that one cute space in your room where you started your little Wonder Woman collection. You can put it right over there.
good. Put it right over the window.
It'd be really cute there.
Yeah. It's still so funny. Why do you have a Wonder Woman doll? Like, why do you have license plates all over your pool barn?
Because I want to.
Because I want them. Why don't you have one? That's the better question.
That's right. Hey, we broke a needle.
Hey. Did the thread stop?
No, not that I'm aware of.
That's usually when you break a needle. Alrighty. Well, let's find the other half.
Is it still in there? Oh, we're still connected down there.
It's not on the project. Nope. Other stuff, but not the needle. Yep.
Needle.
I don't feel anything in there.
Just some fuzz.
Love the fuzz. Not bad, considering
I love this.
it's my favorite. It's so awesome.
It is. It is definitely so awesome.
Okay. That woke us up.
And that's right. It's nice the machine stops though.
Okay. All right. So we're going to need to back up a little bit. Put a new needle in. that's the flap. Rethread everything. Super tight. I think it's the spool. Let's try it down here.
Yeah.
Because I had it where I had to pull on it last night too. That's moving. You want to back up?
Mm-hmm.
All right, is everybody awake now? We are.
That should be good enough.
I think you're good.
And we're sewing again.
And we're back. Yeah. Happens to us too.
Yep. Unexpectedly.
This cup has been through the ringer.
This is my iced coffee cup. See, this is how difficult it is to make it. You put water up to here, you dump it in the ice maker, and then you put ice up to here and you turn it on. Super easy. It's always nice when you don't have to actually measure anything, right? The cup tells you. But you can't buy like replacement cups.
No?
No.
You have to buy the whole thing.
You have to buy the whole thing. So that's why we had to buy a second one, because we had to have dueling ice coffee machines.
That's crazy. So we hope you guys are enjoying watching this stitch.
I know. Should we stop it? Like after maybe we don't finish? Like should we just finish these 3 and then we can go back to mine later? I can just save the design.
Or maybe just finish those 4.
That's what I meant. These, yeah, and then I'll just save the design so I can just pick
Go
that
back
up.
and
Yeah.
pick that up.
This is kind of boring.
You guys probably
I
are
know,
like,
you're like, oh my
I woke
god.
up for this.
Right?
Yeah. I like the pink one.
The pink one is really cute.
That one, like I said, is my least favorite just because it doesn't pop off. But I really like them. Made me want to go play in my software and like make a little alphabet that I could do whatever, like write inspire or
Right.
that's what I wanted to do. Of course, not what they told me to do.
I know, right?
Not boring.
So hard.
You're so sweet, Shirley. So we'll finish this and then we will show you how to finish the banner pieces and then we'll start on the bookmarks. Do you want to grab that book? And then a super important question right behind the other piece of stabilizer.
Oh, it's underneath.
I really did it. I've done good. So Sarah's hooping the stabilizer, which is also a water soluble for the bookmarks. So when this is done stitching, we will finish these out, and yeah, there's plenty of that.
Yeah.
almost there.
I know, right? Sorry, guys. So boring.
So, let's think. What else do we have coming up?
I don't. What? Do you know what you're doing for stand-up yet?
I am thinking that it would be really fun to do some glass etching. So I've been looking up ways to make that work because
Like cream, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
which the cream's easy, but not doing it here makes
Right.
it more complicated. So
Unless you do kind of like what you did with this one, you just tell them the supplies that they might need to get their hands on, and if it's early enough.
I did find like some little bottles that were okay. So we now need to tape to the back.
Okay.
So you want this or do you want to switch to that other one?
Oh, I can use this one. You can save some of
Does that
yours.
match enough?
I think that matches enough.
I'm happy to use the rest of mine. I don't care.
Okay, then I'll use yours.
Okay.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right. So swap. All right. So here we are on the back side of the hoop.
Do you have tape over there?
I do. Thank
Okay.
you. And we need to take one piece and completely cover up each of those pieces that we just did and tape down. You do want to make sure that you're not putting the tape inside of the stitch line. It's going to actually stitch just inside of the previous stitch line. So as long as you're outside of where you stitched previously, you are going to be good. And you do want to, of course, tape the corners.
Pull that down just a little bit, if you can. There you go. We need to find some new bobbins.
Getting low.
We're getting low.
Did the bobbin thread come in yesterday?
I do not believe so.
8x12 hoops come in yesterday?
I feel like some hoops came in yesterday because Carolyn was working on them, but I didn't actually see the box of bobbin thread. But I wasn't actually looking because I was holed up in the corner.
All right. Felt has something on it. I'm going to attempt to put that where it's not going to.
Okay, it's the
So-
back. I'm okay.
Yeah, well, if I can get it outside of the stitch line, why not?
Okay. If you can't, though, I'm okay. I'll just probably glue it to a board.
So what we had stitched previously was the cut line. What we're going to be stitching now is what's going to hold everything together. And then of course you're supposed to rinse and it will remove the stabilizer in between. So what I'm attempting to not do is get tape inside of one of the lines that are on the other side. We don't want tape in any of our stitch lines.
I made it hard for you. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It actually helps that we're not doing all 6. Gives it more work room. You could do it if you were doing all 6. Just gotta watch where you're putting your tape.
Probably be easier to just put a whole piece on the back.
Maybe. Actually, that probably would be way easier.
So if you haven't cut your pieces and you're doing this, you might just lay that
Just
whole piece.
lay the whole piece.
Yeah, that'd be way easier.
Way, way easier. Also be easier if I had my fancy dancy
Tape dispenser?
tape dispenser.
I heard the tape dispensers are coming. They're going to have orange
It's going to be
ones.
a different color.
Yeah. So if you missed out on your Bella box, there is no expected ship date on it though.
No.
They don't know. It does look like we are getting close to the Candy Corn Quilt Shop. Our patterns are supposed to start shipping in mid-August. The fabric is going to be here probably sooner. But of course, your kits won't be ready. You can't do anything with them until you actually have your wrong button. All right. Till you actually have your pattern. So if you haven't already, something wrong?
You don't care about the back
I don't.
because you're bobbing.
I don't care about
Okay.
it. Yes.
Just checking.
Yes.
So, number one. So this is going to do the stitch around. This will show on the back. If you're hanging it somewhere that's going to show, you could run a matching bobbin if you cared about that. I don't think I did either, but maybe I did. Nope, I didn't.
No, I definitely know. I probably won't hang it. I will probably put it on a board so you won't see the back for sure.
Well, if I make a frame, you aren't going to see the back either because they're going to be on a board of a different kind.
Well, that's what I meant by hanging, putting them on a board. Yeah, a frame.
Yep. So this is basically going to keep everything sandwiched. You're going to cut on the outside line. That is what gives it the edge. And so that is your cut line. The inside is the actual pennant size, if you will. So we're going to do all 4 of those, and then we will go back and stitch all 4 of the eyelets, and then we'll switch projects. And we're right at the hour mark, which is perfect. We'll do the second project, which is the bookmarks, when we finish these 4.
Probably should edit this one and speed up this part.
I suppose we could download the, but they can fast forward it just like when they're watching, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't have time to edit it. Do you have time to edit it? Yeah, they can fast forward it. Halfway there.
3.
Sometimes simplicity is good. These are super cute.
They are.
And they're not complicated.
So things we have coming up. We have, there's going to be a Baby Lock exclusive design from Kimberbell coming out. It's going to be like zippered bags. Super cute.
I like zippered bags.
No idea when, but you know, like many moons ago, there was there were notebook covers that were exclusive to biking.
Yep.
So there is going to be an exclusive Baby Lock design coming up. I don't know anything else about it except for that it's bags and that it's coming. You know that we'll tell you as soon as we do know.
Where'd you hear that?
It is part of one of the classes, and it's in the class description for our
for tech.
Yeah, for the Baby Lock thing, tech. And next week, Wednesday, we'll have a special broadcast because we'll be talking about the new stuff that's coming up.
Yep.
I think there's a new viewing software. That's I'm assuming it's going to be for Brother PE and Palette. I think it's kind of like the Floriani doing software cataloging and viewing.
Okay.
That's supposed to be, I don't know if it's going to be an add-on to the software, or if it's like a special buy, or it's just going to become a new download. But there's supposed to be something like that coming. And that's it. That's all I know. That's all I could glean from the descriptions.
Yeah, I saw the email. I did not read any emails other than that one because I was like, wait, what?
What? Yeah.
Wait, what?
But we have to do that for the store. We have to register the store. Today. So maybe after we're done with this, we can do that. And
all right. So those 4 have been tacked together. I'm just going to super quick make sure that nothing flipped on the back before we go any farther. So I'm just going to check the back of the hoop and make sure that everything is super flat, and it is. So before I stitch those eyelets, I want to make sure that I don't need to unstitch anything. And now that I have confirmed that all is well and good on the back, we're going to go ahead and stitch this next step, which what that's going to do is stitch little eyelets in the top corners. And it does a circle, and then it does a little satin stitch over top of that. The satin stitch is important that you don't cut through those. That's what's going to hold everything in place. So you're going to want to remove the felt inside of the satin stitching. If you have a hole punch, that is what will be super helpful. And I do have.
you want to show them under there?
Yeah. So this is the fantastic tool. It is called the Perfect Punch. It comes with different size tips, so you can select with different, depending upon the size of your eyelet that you're punching. And it works really, really easily. It really does. You just need to make sure that you're not like on your mom's dining room table or anything like that, because you know that would be bad.
Yes.
Or your own, for that matter.
Yeah.
So don't do that because it will literally do a hole wherever you're pushing. Right. So you want to use a cutting mat or something like that wherever you are cutting, and you'll just push down and turn, and boom, you've got a very nice hole. The felt will be a little bit, probably, I would think it would have a little more fuzz to push through. You might have to do it more than once to get there, but this is a fantastic tool. We have shown this before. It is available from OESD, and they are only $19.99. It's a great tool to have in your arsenal for things exactly like this when you need to hang something with a ribbon.
Right.
There you go. And is that on our website, I would think?
Yes. It is
so,
definitely on the website.
Yeah.
One of our customers was in yesterday, and she was like, "Oh my God, that thing is so great."
She, I think that was 2 days ago because I heard that.
Yeah.
I wasn't here yesterday.
She loved it.
She's like,
So-
this thing is the best thing ever.
I know.
I'm just putting the rest of your stuff together. There.
Are all of the bookmarks the same essentially? Or are they done the same, or
Pretty much.
pretty much? Okay. So should we just do one?
So we can.
Or do 2, 1 felt, 1 fabric to show the difference? What do you think?
Let's at least do this one because the cutting of the leather is
Different.
not different. It's just
the leather. It's tiny. It's tiny. Yes. Okay.
So there's that, and then we can talk about the finishing of that, and then we can just talk about them because I haven't done.
Yeah.
So we can just talk about them, and then if somebody asks a question, we can go through it or not. But 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so those are completed. So that is 4 of the 6 letters. You guys obviously can figure out how to do the last 2.
Yes.
So did you hit memory?
Not yet.
Let's go ahead and hit memory. So we can very easily do
The rest of them.
the other 2.
All right.
Excuse me. All right. So I did all 3 of the bookmarks in one hooping. Pennant. Nope. Yep. I rotated
rotate
them.
it and slide it up towards the. Do you want me to slide up to the bottom? Would that be easier for
Let's just do this.
you? Okay.
Do you want to add the others or?
Oh, might as well, right? Because
Yeah.
we can just stitch
do one and then do one rotated at the
Okay.
top. Beep, 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 beep. And that one's just stitching. There's nothing different about that one.
Wrong button. Got a little ahead of my first one.
That'll do. Hopefully. Okay. I was like, did we go too low? All right. So we have all 3 in the hoop. We've got 2 of them that are down here, and then we've got the third one rotated up across the top. So we're going to do the first one, the you can with the leather and the flamingo.
What color should I use?
I did this guy.
Okay.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I'm good with that. Yours are cute.
So this is what I did there. So I ended up centering my leather on the flamingo, and then I used the leather for the U in the can instead of pink fabric. So that's just kind of my adjustment that I made. So that's a tiny flamingo. It was like, holy crow, when you went to stitch it. And then when it stitched, I looked at it and I was like, they want me to trim that leather. Like, what?
And the bookmarks aren't very big at all.
They really aren't. I was just like, holy crow, that's not very big. It was very, very surprised. So we're going to completely cover that up. So if you notice, that had a little notch at the top. That will be used later for placement of the ribbon if you're going to use ribbon. That's all that is there for, is just a little notch for this. So we're going to tack the felt down, and then we're going to do all of the stitching on the top. 2 of them are going to be, the top is going to be felt. One of your bookmarks is the top is going to be just unstandard fabric. There's a fuzzy right in the middle of that.
It's making you crazy.
Well, you know, you stitch those down and they don't come out. All right. So the next thing is I did use that dark gray.
Okay.
You can use black if you would like, or whatever other color you would like. I don't certainly care. Okay. So it just doesn't like that. This tree does it.
No, not with this.
For whatever, that one spool just does not like it. So it's usually the guy's problem.
Right.
So this is the legs that are going to protrude from the body. It's kind of an awkward little stitch without anything else on there. They look a little weird. But so we're going to stitch everything on top of the felt. So none of the stitching will show on the back. If you haven't read the instructions yet, all of your pieces you're going to want to fuse a fusible web tube so that they have enough body to kind of support. And then, of course, for the back, so that the whole bookmark has body. Otherwise, it'll just kind of flop around.
Yeah.
So at this point,
Nobody wants a floppy bookmark.
Who wants a floppy bookmark? Absolutely. So the next step is going to be the placement line for the leather.
My watch is saying Taco Bell wants us to come and eat. How scary is that?
At 10 o'clock in the morning?
Doesn't everybody eat breakfast at Taco Bell?
Ugh. They have breakfast?
I don't know.
Ugh.
They used to. They used to have like
absolutely terrible,
like egg bake things, not actual. But I have no idea. We couldn't get. They have no soft taco shells. They're definitely experiencing a product shortage.
Wow,
It's crazy right now.
is that not tiny?
It is very, very tiny.
That neck is like, huh?
I bet that was fun to cut.
Oh. And I didn't bring
And
my.
you volunteered to do a second one for me.
Did I? I don't remember saying I was going to do that. All right. So again, this is the square of leather. What I did is I, of course, centered that on there. I didn't plan it until after I cut it. And I was like, I bet I can get those squares. So I took this piece here and then this piece up here in the top corner. And I used those afterwards for the words. Blah, 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 that we're going to stitch later. So they had you cut pieces of pink regular fabric for those. I just thought it looked a little bit more cohesive if they were all leather.
It looks really cute if they're leather.
And that was just me. So that's what I liked. I'm just going to make sure that I'm actually centered because otherwise that won't work. And then it says, tape that down.
Lisa's using her tape right now.
This is the Lisa tape. Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna see if my those are going to work. We're going to try.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to do the main portion here with my standard 6-inch. But then when I get up to that crazy neck portion there, I'm going to try some snips. At home, I had little 4-inch ones that I used for that section.
It's so tiny.
It is super small.
It's so quiet.
Right?
Oh. And then I need black or the dark gray again for the beak. Or the eye.
The white next.
White next.
It's the like tip of it's the middle portion of the beak.
All right.
So I have 850 there.
I see that.
Which I think is called lamplight. I like lamplight. You can do whatever you would like though, of course. I guess the main thing on this is, take your time, like with all leather.
Slow and steady, right?
Wins the race. Actually, that's probably not true, but
Guess it depends on who you ask.
depends
right?
on how
the turtle or the hare.
Depends on the race.
just saw a Facebook video on a turtle and a hare racing the other day.
Really?
Yeah. The turtle won. The rabbit got sidetracked. It was kind of funny. It was like he was running, and then he was like saw something and he just totally. Yep. I was like, yep, that's kind of how it happens sometimes.
All right. I think it's as close as we're gonna get. So this little curve right here was probably the hardest one because
I bet
it goes like dips down.
Mm-hmm.
So just take your time, have a couple pairs of scissors on hand, and
I have the little snippies.
oh yeah. Good.
Yep.
All right, so now we just have the tiny little stitch on the nose, in between the tip of the nose. It's like takes half a second, almost not worth doing, but it does show. So
and then dark gray again.
and then back to the dark gray.
Okay, just gonna start down here this time. That school thread does not like me.
It doesn't like me either, so don't feel good. All right, so now we're going to do the eye and the rest of the beak. And of course, there's a jump stitch in there that you're supposed to try to get out later.
That's fun.
I did. I got it off. But it was tiny.
Yeah, I bet.
And of course, lots of little threads in the middle of it that you try not to clip.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so at this point, we have the placement lines for the squares for the words. So I took my leather and I basically cut it in half of my excess, and I used those pieces there. You can, of course, use fabric. I just liked the look.
Super cute. Like you said, it stands out a little bit more.
Well, and not only, except I dropped it on the floor, but not only that, the pink fabric, I was afraid you would see the mint felt coming through it,
Mm-hmm.
which of course you could fuse on the back. I just thought it looked more balanced.
I like it. It's a good idea.
And it was just a square, so it was easy to cut. It was like, that's easy. I can handle that. So a couple pieces of scrap. So we're just going to cover those puppies up and tack those down.
I love a good triple stitch.
Nothing like it. Moved more than I was. Whoa, getting away from me there. All right, so the next is going to be whatever color you would like. I did mine back with that gray that you love so much. And I did put in a black bobbin because I didn't want
That to pull up.
Okay. And I wasn't sure how well everything would go.
You can handle
that. While you're doing that, I will go ahead and trim the excess away.
Okay.
I actually waited to trim it at home, but it didn't have enough stitching to make a difference. You know, there was no pulling.
Right.
And now these really are wasted scraps of pink. There's nothing worth keeping.
It's so small. But it's so cute.
So I read a lot, but mostly I read on my iPad at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very large book collection, but most of what I read these days is on my my iPad.
If
I'm
we
just
put
like,
elastic in this, they would make
cute
for
cover.
our planners, like as holders, and they would be pretty flat, which would be nice. But yeah, if you just stuck a little piece of elastic in there when you instead of the ribbon, I think that would be really cute.
That would be cute.
Yeah.
Well, I can make everything again.
Right? I don't think it was started at the beginning.
I was gonna say, I don't know that started right.
No.
You want to go back?
Yeah.
It's not the beginning of the color. You're gonna have to go back by stitches. There's more stitches there than I thought.
Right? Come on. There we go.
It didn't catch the beginning of the C, so it was no stitches there, which makes it not a C,
Right?
All right, once we have that stitched, the only thing left is going to be the tack down on the back. So if you are placing a ribbon, you would then, let's go ahead and turn to the back, and you have that original stitch right here that is that opening. So you're going to we're going to pretend this is a ribbon. You're going to fold your 8-inch piece of ribbon in half, and you would take the folded portion and tuck it right inside that notch and tape it in place. Once you have that taped in place, you're going to take your backing fabric. Again, make sure you put a fusible on that so that it gives you some support, and you're going to tape that in place. Again, this is going to go inside of the original stitch line. Make sure that you are not getting the tape inside of where that stitch is. It's going to be a running stitch. It'll be harder to get that out. Once you have that taped, you're going to go back to the machine and do the squaring stitch. And you don't care about the back?
I don't.
Okay. If you are worried about what the back is going to be, you can run a bobbin to match either the backing fabric or your top thread. So I have mine matching the top thread. It's just that minty green. So I did run a bobbin to match. Totally up to you. Depending upon how you're going to use it, of course, is going to depend on what you're going to do.
I'm not sure what I was thinking. I threaded it with pink thread.
You could have pink.
I could, but I didn't want pink. I really wanted that. I just wasn't paying attention.
Because I was doing pink fabric over there.
Right? I had pink on the brain.
Had pink on, you also have pink on the brain. So now we have that squaring stitch that's going to go all the way around. It will right there tack the ribbon in place, so it will stay there. And what you'll end up with is those cute little ribbons that will poke out of the top of your book if you're using it as a bookmark.
Or if you want to put elastic in there.
Or elastic.
Yeah.
It will show you where to place the elastic. I actually really like the elastic idea.
And I think if you put the elastic in, like,
you would run it up and down.
Yeah, it would be better.
Yep. And that then completes that bookmark. Once you are done with, if you're doing a multi-hooping like we are showing here, you would take that out and trim on that outside line. So the original tack down line is your cut line. And on these, they do recommend using pinking shears. So I don't know if you noticed that we have that cute little pinked edge. So I have my cute little pinking shears, which get almost no use.
And they're pink.
But that is what that is. Be very careful when you do that top piece. You need to cut the top and the bottom separately, because of course, if you do it together, you're going to remove the ribbon. Don't do that. That's no good. So the other ones that we have the lightning bolt that says do it. Sure. We have these lightning bolt that says do it for you. And that one is going to have the gold leather and then just the regular stitching. This one is on just fabric. There is no felt for that. So the front, they have you stitching on the green and using the gold leather piece. All right. I have a silver thread. It looks really gray in the instructions. You can do whatever color you want, of course. So depending upon what you would like that to look like, you can, of course, swap that out. I did that lamplight, that 850 Floriani here, and then that same gold that I had for tacking down. If anybody is looking for help on colors, I used 560 on the gold and on the decorative pieces. So for the leather and the decorative colors there. And then I used the recommended and I did match that color. So I have that contrasting color on the back. So the front and back of this one are just fabric, but again, make sure you're putting fusible on there so you have some body to that. On the last one, you're going to have the felt on the front, which is going to be that nice blush color. And the backing is going to be the yellow polka dot. And again, make sure you have your fusible on that. I started this off in your instructions. It shows that being like a gold color. So you probably can't see real clearly, but I started that off with gold and it looked really, really bad. So don't do that. It doesn't show up well at contrast. All. There just was not enough contrast to the blush felt. So I switched to that nice gray color. Is that $4.89?
Yep.
Which is again a Floriani. I have a lot of, I know I said I had exquisite in here. Those are the ones that I had used for my banner pieces. Most of these happen to be Floriani for the bookmarks, but I have the underlying courage and then the creativity takes all in that $4.89, and then that pink, which is over there still.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is $3.04, and that one is an exquisite. So those are the colors that I use for this. That teal is literally a running stitch that sits on top of that gray. So you're going to stitch the gray first and then the teal. And that one I use if you guys are looking for something to go with 221 Floriani. And again, those ribbons are in that plastic box that was inside of the Bella box. And I used one of each color for each of those. And then that green ribbon, you're going to cut 5-inch strips. You're going to cut 7 5-inch strips to put those banner pieces together, if that's how you're planning to use those. Anybody have any questions?
I don't think so.
So there's some trimming that you're going to need to do there's a lot of jumps and things like that. I did trim quite a bit on the backs of things to make sure that I didn't have, knots coming out. I made sure I trimmed before I placed my backing fabrics so that I didn't have random threads poking out when I have a free form item. I always try to make sure that I don't have, that messy knot that you get when it starts, that you get those little pokey out things. I made sure I cut all of those before I placed my backing fabric. So keep an eye out for all of those too. That's
Sounds good.
about what I got for you.
Yeah. It seems silly for us to spend the next 30 minutes stitching out the bookmarks because it'll be super boring for you to.
It's literally straight stitching.
They're all the same. You start with your base piece, then you do your applique piece, and then you finish with your bottom piece and or your ribbon, putting that in at the same time, and then trimming out. In
your box, you also got magnets and pins that if you wanted to use these as a magnet or whatnot, you have some other options on how you could use these bookmarks for other things. I really like the elastic and use them on like your journals or whatnot to show you where you're at, mark your pages or whatnot. I think that's a great idea. Elastic is not in there, but I think we all probably have oodles of elastic from this mask here.
Right.
So we probably have some different options.
And if you wanted to add the elastic and you found that it was, because this isn't actually flipped and turned, if you were concerned about it, this would be a really easy project to literally stop at this point, tuck your ends in and sew the last stitch up on your sewing machine.
Absolutely.
Just going 1/4 of an inch in from that outside line, so that you could make sure that your elastic was the size that you wanted. And again, a good reason to sometimes switch over and change it up a little bit, but that would make that super easy. It would not be difficult to get the elastic in here, but you kind of would have to babysit it because
you want to make sure it's not getting sewn in the wrong spot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you would kind of want to tuck it in under here so before you do that, and it would kind of be coming up and around.
Another way you could maybe jerry rig that is to have 2 pieces and then sew it later together at the length that you needed it to be for whatever your journal or whatnot was.
And so
you could have 2 pieces coming out the top and the bottom and then just connect them after the fact at the length that they needed to be.
Need them to be. Yeah, if your elastic was wide enough to you could don't do it that with skinny elastic.
It's really hard. I've done it a few
with
times.
Our masks,
I've done it a few times in the last year, and I like grr every time I'm doing it. But
I know I got to the point where anything less than
tie
like
a
the
knot.
1/4 inch and the 1/8 inch ones, I just tied the knot because it was just such a pain in the butt to stitch over. But
unfortunately, we've done it. But
yes, we have. But I think if you were using like 1/2 inch or bigger, you could certainly, like you said, zigzag those edges together, and that would be a super easy way of completing it in the hoop here. But again, it wouldn't be hard to, like I said, pop it out and stitch
this
that.
is literally that 1/4 inch in. Super easy. You could draw it, stitch right on top of it if you weren't comfortable just using your foot or whatever.
Absolutely.
Draw it out super easily. So some other options on how to do that. I definitely liked the leather
it's cute
better. I think it gives it a little bit more oomph, and I like the lightning bolt. It's very cute. It was very cute. I think that might be actually my favorite one, but gotta figure out a way to use them.
Absolutely.
Because I have lots and lots of books, but unfortunately, I haven't read a physical book in a hot second.
So we're done.
I think we're done with the Bella box.
Stitching out the Bella box. It was so much fun, and this is the quickest we've ever done a Bella box. We're just like you. I definitely didn't do the other one right away, so it took us a little while before we decided to do it. But this was a lot of fun, and
I really like the projects.
They were a lot of fun.
They're very
very
craft oriented, which of course we all are. So I think that was a smart move on their part because we are all in that mode. Not necessarily all have something to do with each of these projects, but that's part of the gig too.
That is
But, you know, thinking outside the box and how other ways we can use some of those things,
Mhm.
or take the base that they gave us and go take that
Run it.
creativity and run with it,
Yeah.
and say, okay, well, I really like this, but I want to alter it and do this.
Yeah.
You know, like with the different letters. I'm not sure if you could hear, we were talking while the creativity, or the create letters were stitching. You know, I want to run and get in my software and create the rest of the alphabet so that I can make banners of different things, because, you
Mhm.
know, inspire, or, you know, whatever
Mhm.
else. How fun,
I know.
you know, and that stitch is certainly a common enough stitch. You could recreate it very easily,
Mhm.
and have everything match, or you
Absolutely.
could make them with different motif stitches.
could.
Why
You
not?
could.
So I hope you guys enjoyed sewing with us the last couple of weeks, and I'm sure there'll be something else that comes up soon. We will see you guys Tuesday morning next week, and then we will,
Tuesday afternoon.
that's what I meant.
Mhm.
Yeah, see, I'm so messed up too. Tuesday at 3:30, and then we will have a special broadcast on Wednesday.
In the afternoon.
It'll be
sometime.
the afternoon. We'll get all of our information. We'll throw together a presentation, and we'll see you probably Wednesday afternoon, with whatever we find out.
That's right.
So we will
What's
see you guys then,
new?
and you can look for a. We'll probably hold off on the newsletter
Until after that. Yeah.
that. It probably won't come the first of the month. It'll probably be the first week instead, but you
Mhm.
never know. But
Yeah.
we've got that. We've got Welcome Home #2 coming up. We've got a Kimberbell event coming up at the end of August. Don't we have another?
There's
something?
another dime event in.
I feel like there's another event in August,
Mhm.
and we have Scan and Cut Club, which I'm toying with, embossing, not embossing, etching. It started with an E. So close. And I'm just trying to figure out how to do that virtually. And she's got a foot fetish, which have you thought about?
I'm gonna do the circular sewing attachment for those ladies that were asking about it. So
sometimes you get what you ask for.
that's right. That's right.
So we will see you guys soon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in.
Yes.
Take care. Bye.